Hey guys, thanks for watching 205 Outdoors. I'm Freddie Dillard, your host. And today I was out at our lease. Decided to go there early this morning, way before daylight, and start flying the drone and just kind of watching some of the deer on our property. And I'm really interested in seeing how these bucks are developing. Today is June the 28th, so I'm trying to do like a weekly video, or at least one or two, and I may go back this evening and do like an actual live video on YouTube or TikTok one. But I'm trying to keep a track of these bucks, keep pictures of them. I just want to see their progression over the summer, and it's kind of cool since I started doing this in May, and here we are, and toward the end of June, and I mean, wow, they're starting to come around, and we've still got a good ways till season opener, and I think it's October the 15th. But they'll get rid of their velvet somewhere around the 1st of October into September. But it's just been cool watching them. I'm gonna go ahead and hit play. Let's watch these deer. Also, if you've got property here in Central Alabama and you just want to see what's on your property, man, give me a call. I'd be happy to come out and we'll go there and fly it and get you video of it. You can take a look at all the deer on your property, all the bucks, and just see. Some people may use that for doe management and to see if they need to take so many does, and some people may just want to see what bucks are on their property. And you always hear that story of you always hear that story of somebody having, this deer that was killed on their property, and they're like, "Well, we've never seen this deer before on camera." And it may be living there all the time. It just doesn't step in front of cell cameras. So we can see it with a drone. So this is the Bachelor group right here on our property. It's 4 deer. Sorry, the drone kind of dipped a little bit when I was making this. This is 4 of the bucks right here. In my opinion, 2 of them are shooters and 2 of them are definitely not shooters. So if you look at this buck right here, I'm calling him a 3-year-old. This is a 2-year-old. Just off their body size, you can look at them. They're pretty close in size. This one looks a little bigger because he's closer to the camera, but he's definitely this is definitely, I think, a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. To the right, you got a 4.5, and then you got a 5.5 sitting right here. Or did I get those? No, I mixed those up. I'm sorry. This is the 5.5. This is 4.5. These 2 deer are pretty similar in body size. I saw this deer enough last year and dealt with him enough video of him, and he was huge last year. He's on the channel, several videos of both of those deer. Last year, of course, the other deer was a 3.5-year-old, so I didn't shoot him. Had one time that I was out in the woods and I was walking through there and I saw them looking at me, and anyway, I couldn't get a good shot on him. This is your 2-year-old. He's just a smaller deer. Just looking at him, his body size. And you guys can put in the comments what you think. Is he 2 or 3? I've got him in my mind. He's a 2-year-old. He's just a smaller buck. He'll grow into something nice, but yeah, that's why we don't want to shoot this guy. This one right here, I'm calling this one. This is a 4-year-old. You see, he's got that belly right here. He's kind of got that little sway in his back. He's a heavier deer, and watching him last year, he was a solid 3-year-old last year. Yeah, you couldn't blame anybody for shooting him last year. I'll just put it that way. And it could be that he's a 5.5 and the other one's a 6.5, but I really think this is a 4-year-old deer. Just everything about him. He is a shooter on our property, 100%. I've said it many a time, but for our lease, the criteria for trophy is either 120-inch rack or greater, 4.5 years old or older, or 170 pounds or heavier. And you have to meet one of those criteria. We prefer not to shoot anything less than 4.5, though. So this deer, like I said, he meets every one of the criteria. He's going to be 170 pounds. His rack, by the time October gets here, he'll easily be 120 inch, and he's at least 170 pounds, maybe more. He's a nice buck. He's going to be a really good one. Just browsing down right now. Surprisingly, not in the fields. I don't know I haven't looked at the fields in the last couple of days. They may not have any clover in them right now. That may be why. But they're hitting this clear cut pretty hard right now. So we'll watch him for just a second. It'll zoom out, and then we'll look at some more deer. Oh, see a little deer run off. I wonder if he got on a snake just then. You saw he kind of just jumped back. This deer right here. Um, he acted like I don't know if there's a rattlesnake over there or something, but yeah, he's looking back at it. Something spooked him over there. I don't know. He was a little freaked out. I know I would have that's how I would have jumped if I would have got near a rattlesnake. So this deer here, I'm calling him he's either a 2 or a 3-year old. He looks kind of heavy. That's the only reason I'm saying three. This is our 4-year old we were just looking at. Again, nice buck. And this little guy, he's just stressed out over something. I don't know if the other bucks have. I haven't seen him, you know, attack toward him or anything, but he's a little jumpy around him, and it could be a snake over there. Who knows? This is the deer I'm calling a 5.5-year old. He's just bigger. I mean, look at his body size. He's just got a lot more. He's a heavier deer. He is fairly comparable to that 4.5-year old on body size, but this deer is heavier. Uh, Rack wise, last year this was a really nice buck, and I fully anticipate this what we're seeing right now. He's going to be a hoss this year. Definitely everybody's target buck right here. He's a good one. Hopefully somebody gets him. Hopefully, I mean, I hope I get him, but I hope somebody in the club gets him. He's a good deer. Let's kind of zoom out and let you guys look. Again, there's that 4.5-year old just for comparison. And those two ran together all last season. I saw them preseason, and after I got the drone, I got to watch them, a lot. But in preseason, I would see them, kind of walking around the clear cut, walking, just seeing them with the binos. And this 4-year old. I mean, he was most places he would have been a shooter last year, really easy. We try to hold to our criteria as much as possible, and let these deer grow. So the deer ended up moving a little bit. They went into the woods for a few minutes, and then they walked down a couple of 100 yards, and then they kind of went back into a different spot. But I wanted to show you guys this picture so you can see them from this angle, and it's a pretty good. You can really tell them apart right here. You definitely see that this deer is smaller than the rest of them, right? Pretty easy to tell there. This one, those two, maybe on the smaller side. These two, maybe on the heavier side. But now that 3-year old I do think he's a heavier 3-year old. He is a bigger body, but I saw him last year. Is the only reason I'm calling him a 3-year old this year is he was real small. So that camera kind of, when you're zoomed in like that, sometimes the drone will, you know, it's real sensitive to movement. That was over panned, I guess would be the way to say that. So you see, this is our 5.5-year old right here. Yep. This one is the one I was calling, possibly a three. And you got 2-year-old. I think that's your five, and that's your 4-year-old. Two of those definitely shooters. The other two, one of them I think next year for sure will be a shooter. But it should be a good season. And this is just part of our property. I've got, this when I went out there this morning, this was the first place when I launched the drone. It was I found these bucks immediately, so I kind of just stayed with them. I may come back next weekend and look over different parts of our property. I know that a couple weeks ago I saw a bachelor group, and there was a couple of nice shooters in that one as well. So potentially 4 or 5, maybe 6 really nice shooter deer that I've seen so far on our property. Hopefully, it'll be a good season for us. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching 205 Outdoors, and don't forget to like and subscribe and put in the comments what you think these deer are. And thanks for watching.